very careful. For me, I have said it over and over again that for every election, it's an opportunity for INEC to rebuild their image. It's an opportunity for INEC to win back the confidence of people. Because this apathy we keep talking about in the course of this discussion and even subsequent ones, the apathy, the major cause of the apathy is that the people believe their votes don't count. So the government, INEC must do everything to ensure that the people's vote counts. And by the time you do it 1, 2, 3 times repeatedly, people will see that there is a need for them to participate in the process. They become confident because their vote will count. So we're going to call out INEC and we'll continue to call them out to make sure that they do what is right. On the information as a compilation of lists, we have heard it that they've compiled lists, that they even submitted it to INEC and what have you. Yes, I have sold. Excuse me. We have told a few people who we believe have access to find out, to see how true that information is. Once we confirm it, we'll bring it to the public domain and we'll continue fighting. Everything must be transparently done. Let's see how they can do it. We must follow them bumper to bumper to make sure that they don't take anybody for granted, to make sure that they don't do things out of context. Then the issue of Enugu court, my dear, we have issued many refutals. It's just a joke. Here is a man who was procured by people we know. Let me save them the embarrassment of calling their names. We know them. They procured somebody so that they can distract us. The intention is to distract us, because if you speak from the point of law, there are clear basic facts. For you, Supreme Court has ruled that for you to participate, to go to court, to litigate against any process, you must participate in it. The young man who went to court did not participate in the primary. Issue of tickets are not given by states levels of the parties. Issue of tickets are given by the national. The same man, you are not a member of the National Executive Committee, you are not part of the process. Thirdly, and most importantly, Supreme Court has ruled that if you want to litigate against a primary process, you have 14 days from the day the primary took place for you to do that. If you fail to fall within these 14 days, it becomes status bad. This young man waited until 2 months and a half, going to 3 months, before going to court. So the issue is that the issue points he raised were dead on arrival. However, there was no court order barring me from parading myself as a candidate. There was no such order. It was a fabrication by the people. It was intended strictly to stop me or to distract me. There was no court, no such order. The only order the court gave is the order of substituted service, that they can serve us by substituted means, and that everybody must be placed on notice. And when I think it was 8th of last month, yes, the case was called up in court. Our lawyers were in court, but unfortunately the court did not even sit. So there's no court order. It exists in the imagination of those who are planning it. There's no court order stopping me or court order asking INEC. The only thing the court said was that they can serve me by substituted means, and that every respondent must be placed on notice. So that is a fabrication. It's an imagination of my battery. It's an imagination of those who are sponsoring it. So please, I'll just ask for a few minutes. Let me connect my battery because my phone is getting off.
Okay, no problem, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. And thank you very much for answering some of the questions. And while we wait for you to get your battery on or connected to a charger, David, are you on the call? David?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. Please, can you we'll segue a bit. Can you share with us some of the rationale or reasons why you've come to believe in the candidacy of Dr. George?
All right.
What are the key reasons that made you say that, you know what, I want to I want to be a part of this campaign. You're a son of Anambra State. You believe in his campaign. Why do you believe in his campaign?
All right. I was even going to speak after Mr. Moghalu would have finished. You know, last 2 months, when someone reached out to me, I wouldn't mention the name of the person, anyways. When someone reached out to me, because I think we just had a space, and I was actually voicing my frustration against Soludo because I was very much dissatisfied with his performance. He's been woeful, anyways. And so the person reached out to me and was like, okay, whom do I want to support? I said I was going to remain neutral because at the time I wasn't feeling the vibe of any alternative, right? And so, so the person was telling me about Mr. George, and I felt like, okay, out of curiosity, of course, I'm a researcher as well, but out of curiosity, I just felt like, looking up his profile online, and I did, and it was mind-boggling that the fact that many people are not aware of what he has achieved, especially his role as NIWA, that is National Inland Waterways Authority, as the MD of NIWA between 2019 and 2023. So I did a research about him extensively. Of course, before I would support anyone, I would have to research. So I found a few very interesting facts about him. Number one, and of course, he spoke about security, how he's going to ensure there is security and all that, curb the insecurity that is already festering. What I discovered, one of the things I discovered that he did was the deployment of water marshals, right, across the waters, to curb water accidents and all that. And some of the templates he adopted, I wish, of course, is part of the question I also wanted to ask him, how he's going to improve on that template because of the effort he made in terms of securing the waters. We're using a water marshal. Second thing I saw he did, he was the first person that made mandatory the use of life jacket in Nigerian waters. All right. And I think that has not been spoken about enough. Many people are not even aware of some of these things, especially in the Anambra, because I believe our people are so a bit disassociated with federal politics, that sometimes they don't even pay attention to what is happening in federal parastatals, right? And probably that is the reason most people are not aware of his achievements as the MD of NIWA. Right, so the making mandatory the use of life jacket and even arresting some people who flout that law for their safety, because the use of life jacket was to protect people against boat accidents, against water accidents, right? And that is something that is quite commendable. Second thing I discovered, second point I discovered was his effort to foster industrialization. The revitalization, the concession of Onitsha Port. I don't know how many people are aware of that Onitsha Port was concessioned by him, right? And I also read sometimes in 2019, thereabout, or 2020, I read, that he tried to revitalize or revamp the Oguta Lake port, right? And that is also something that is commendable. I mean, of course, Igbo people are business minded, right? And industrialization, one of the things that sort of give boost to industrialization is the functionality of the ports, right? So his effort in making sure that these ports, come alive is key. And I want to also ask him how he's going to develop or build on this. I don't know if you can hear me. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, go ahead.
So okay. So the third thing I read about him is, which I'm not sure. I think he has to also confirm this, though I read it online, but he has to confirm it, and reassure, and also explain how he's going to build on this, raising revenue. I read that he was able to move the revenue of NIWA from 1 billion to 11 billion within a space of a year. And this is really, I want to really know how he did this, if he really did it, or if people just, wrote stuff about him online and then, confirm how he's going to also build on this, because Anambra generally needs this at the moment. The failure of this current government is such that sort of it touches all sectors, including raising revenues, and it's so bad. And so Anambra urgently needs this. My state, which I have to be, sure, I have to give more passion to, to marketing and projecting his ideas. I wish he can build on this, and I want him to talk about how he's going to build on this. I think I would have to stop here for now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to confirm, Jack, if you're on the call. Jack, are you on the call? Trying to make you a speaker.
I can't find Jack here. Okay, I think he's here.
Okay, so Jack, please just I've sent you a speaker invite. Please accept it so that you can come on this on the speaker panel. Thank you very much. I mean, the real goal of this space is very simple. While we wait for His Excellency to join us to say one or two words, apparently he's currently at a function. He's going to be joining us shortly. While we wait for His Excellency to come, I believe that we've heard from our candidates. We've heard from him. He's been able to answer questions around security, education, values, corruption, you name it, economic development. He's answered several questions, and the real goal for this conversation is to ensure that obedience that have reservations or have questions that they want to ask him, they can do that in this space. And I believe that in the last couple of minutes, he's done a fantastic job of answering your questions. I mean, you felt some form of capacity, you felt some form of competence, and you've, to some degree, understood the reason why His Excellency is rooting for him in the Anambra elections. I mean, in terms of his history, someone who has led enterprises in government, he's been in the past Director General of the Bureau for Cooperatives and Rural Development in Abia State. And just as David has stated, he was once the managing director of the National Inland Waterways Authority, where he did tremendously well. And he was also the chairman of Nigerians Communication Satellite Limited. And he has founded quite a number of different non-profits from this Muzo Development Foundation that has been dedicated to empowering communities through education, healthcare, and economic development. So he's been a big fan of education being a base station for development. Healthcare, without health, you can't do anything. And economic development, he's a businessman with several business interests that he runs a company called Crystal Functions Limited, a leading advertising firm. He has an investment company. He also runs a technology-driven firm, Aquadera Technologies Limited. He's a philanthropist, someone who has, to a large degree, through his foundation, delivered impact across Nigeria, not just in Anambra State. His foundation has provided scholarships, medical outreach programs, and deployed infrastructure projects that have helped communities that are underserved. He has provided health assistance. He's someone who has been there for the last couple of years. He's not someone who is new. He's someone who has been there, and there's some form of history that made His Excellency say, you know what, I would want to back him. And the call for all of us listening to this call is to say, as a movement, we need to rally behind him. We need to rally behind Dr. George in terms of how we support him, from as simple as going to social media accounts right now and following his account, retweeting his videos, providing publicity for the campaign. As simple as, if you're in Anambra State, volunteering um, to become a vote protection volunteer, to become a polling unit agent, to mobilizing your polling unit. We have the obedience.com where you can actually get voters, you can actually recruit voters to vote. You're a security official. How can you play a very critical role in providing intelligence? And you are someone who is a pastor. How would do you have plans to speak to your audience about his candidacy? You're a market woman, a market man, or a trader. What's your plan to engage your audience? You're someone who has resources in terms of finance. What are you thinking about in terms of donating to his campaign and supporting his campaign? To want to learn more about him, you can go to georgemoghalu.com. You're going to see his manifesto. You're going to see what he stands for. You're going to see how to support his campaign in terms of donations. You will now get to understand why he's running. I mean, a very powerful quote from him is the fact that leadership is about service, not privilege. That's his understanding of leadership. And it's about restoring dignity. It's about building trust and ensuring that every citizen has a stake in their future. That's his operating philosophy. And he has a recovery agenda for Anambra State, a very powerful recovery agenda, that if that agenda is deployed to a large degree, Anambra Gadema. Anambra Gadema, if it does, that happens. That's Anambra is going to be good. And he's one of his major platform is that he wants to fight to defend and expand Anambra's middle class. The reality is that the current state of the economy has destroyed the middle class. We have many people in the middle class that are now going into poverty. Poverty is now encroaching. Those that are even rich are finding it very difficult from the rise in inflation, from the amount of money being lost every Monday as a result of the stay-at-home order that is ravaging the state. And he says, you know what, I want to transform Anambra State. I want to make Anambra State to become that base station in terms of good governance and institutional reform. That's something that's a major thing he's thinking about. He has 4 key priorities: good governance and institutional reforms, human capital development, very important, as you all know. Without a very strong and informed people, educated people, you can't drive development outcomes at scale for your people. Economic transformation and job creation. I mean, unemployed youth need to get a job. They need to earn a living, and we need Anambra is a home for billionaires, a home where you have a home that has some of the biggest markets, industries. How do you ensure that we harness that economy and ensure that Anambra is a place that 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 houses the economic nerve center of the southeast or the south in general? Infrastructure and urban development. We have roads that are dilapidated. We have bridges that are struggling, and we have villages that need to be connected more properly. We have roads that are substandard in terms of their design. There's a need to build infrastructure for the future. I mean, in the next couple of years, we're going to have more people will be born into Anambra State. Housing needs to be taken care of. So there are a lot of. So I'm going to. I know we've asked a couple of questions, and we're waiting for the candidate to come back on the space because I think he has a technical issue in terms of his device. I'm going to bring on Jack. Jack is a believer. Jack is a believer. He's going to share with us some of the rationale, some of the reasons why we need to go hard. We need to go merit for Dr. George Moghalu. George, please, over to you, please. Give us an idea of the recovery agenda of Dr. George, if you're there. George, Jack, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. Confirm if you can hear me, Century, please.
We can hear you loud and clear.
All right, thank you. It's good to be here. Everybody. Talking about Anambra elections and George Moghalu. So for me, it's just like David had alluded to the fact that initially, as much as a lot of us were obviously not happy with our current governor, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo. And for me, this is not even about politics. It's about, realities on ground, development on ground, yeah. I'm from Anambra State myself, and I visit home very often. And I'm well-traveled, at least in the Nigerian context, right? Specifically Southeast, there's no state I don't visit, every 4 months. So I could tell that there's an appreciable level of development happening in Abia State. Over the last 2 years, you could see the seriousness of, governance happening in Enugu State. You could see, even in Imo State, you could see that there's appreciable level of improvement from where they used to be. But when you come to Anambra State, you begin to see the level of mediocrity, across board, associated with, our current governor and the things he has done. And, for people like me, I feel that it is not, we're in democracy and we should not be able to reward failure, right? And reward, petty politicking in 2020.
Can anybody hear Jack?
Yeah, I can hear you very clearly.
Yes, please confirm if you can hear
Century.
me.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. We can
All
hear
right,
you. We can hear you. Go ahead, please.
So I mean, you look at the security. Anambra used to be one of the safest states in Nigeria, and as much as I'm not going to, because I'm also very fair in my assessment. As much as I'm not going to blame, the whole security distance on the governor, right? Because of course all the federal, all the security agencies are actually controlled by the federal government. However, I have a serious problem with the, local security, the vigilante system, the new Agune chamber, which our candidate George Moghalu had actually called for the disbandment of that particular security outfit. And this is not based on, it is not even because there's an election. Every single Anambarian on the street of Anambra that actually lives in Anambra don't feel safe around, Agune chamber people. We ran a survey on this. If you move around Anambra and ask people what their opinion is about the Agune Chamber security outfit, they will tell you two things. They will tell you that these guys are criminals. They will tell you that these people are actually a political setup. They are meant for election rigging. That is what an average Anambra person believes as of today. And why is this so? This is so because these guys are even worse than the Nigerian police. What they do basically is to extort in the Anambra. And when you refuse to give them these monies, they either harass you, they beat you up, or, in some cases, they get people killed. And I mean, it's not once, it's not twice. There are too many instances. Almost every week, there must be an incident of associating Agune Chamber, or the Operation Udogachi, right? Across Anambra, either maiming somebody, killing somebody, or shooting, sporadically and all of that. And when you see these guys, you could see clearly that these people are mostly touts, right? Not well dressed, always looking haggard, always looking like criminals. You look at them, you see that most of them are smokers. Most of these people, so you know that you can't feel safe having guns in the hands of these guys. And that is what an average Anambra person is saying. If we need a security outfit, please, can you take these people and train them properly? Can you bring in more decent people that are even willing on the streets of Anambra to actually do this work and pay them properly? Because most of these Udogachi people are not even paid well. I think the highest earner is around 100K or thereabout. On average, most of them are paid 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. And so there is no way you give somebody a gun and send them to the street and pay them this mega amount, and you expect them to actually carry out the function of a proper security outfit. So let's even not talk about that. Let's talk about the infrastructure. Yeah, so you will hear the Governor Soludo tell you, oh, I've built 400 kilometers of road, I'm opening up villages. But what people are not paying attention to is even the roads that are built as well. What is the quality of these roads? I drive around. I move around the state. I mean, if I haven't been to any town in Anambra, I know I've been to more than 50 towns in the last 1 month in Anambra State. And you could see clearly that these roads are already failing. This is not politics. It's the reality on ground. So why are we in 2025 celebrating building roads that will not even outlive your government? It doesn't make no sense to me. So, I mean, let's discuss education. Is Anambra faring better, education-wise? Governor Soludo employed, pride himself as somebody that employs 5,000 teachers, right? But these 5,000 teachers, none of them is on permanent employment yet, right? They are still on probation. So they are paid peanuts. And you expect these people to be able to train the future generation of Ndi Anambra. That is why our schools are performing woefully. In WAEC NECO, we are doing poorly. This last result, I think we did about 24th on the list and thereabouts. This is not the Anambra that we used to know. Our people now hold their burials, their funerals. The other day, some of you were, saw it when Flavor, that is from Anambra, had to bury his father in Enugu State. People now do their what's it called? Traditional marriage, weddings outside Anambra. Even the governor himself, his daughter had to, if you guys remember, his daughter had to do her wedding in Abuja. right? Why are all these things are happening? It's happening because even the governor cannot guarantee the safety of people, dignitaries that probably want to grace the the wedding ceremony and all of that in Anambra State. So something is wrong, and somebody has to tackle these things head on, right? And the truth of the matter is that just like every other person, I was quite skeptical about George Moghalu, from the onset. But I'm also somebody that likes to not just give people benefit of the doubt, right? But I also go a little deeper and actually find out things out for myself. Everybody knows me. If there's something I'm notorious about, is the fact that I don't follow crowd. I don't support people because others are supporting them. And most of you know my story on this on Twitter, at least in the Obedient movement, that there have been instances where I said I'm not going to support this candidate because he's a Labour Party person, or because Obedient said they want to support him. I'm not going to do that. I support people based on their personal character. And when I took my time, I realized that we have a gem. We have somebody that can actually say, I will do this, and we can believe the person will do that. And this is not just about, even because David reeled out what he did as DG of NIWA, and and all of that. But if you even trace it back to his life as permanent secretary in Abia State, in the days of Dr. Ogbonnayono, and look at his history, his track record of performance as consultant with other palms, with as the founder of one of the biggest advertising company in the east of Niger, back in the days. You see that there's a track record of excellence associated with him over time. There is nobody in Anambra, politics that will tell you that George Moghalu has, any controversy associated with his public life and his private life. Both as a businessman, he executes contracts and he does what he's supposed to do and all of that. So I looked at his personal character and I feel like this is somebody that we can actually rally around, somebody that has shown that he has the capacity to deliver. And David, to answer your question about, when you talked about whether he did actually improve if he actually did improve the revenue of NIWA from about 1 billion to about, I think he left it at 11.7 billion, when he was leaving office, just in 4 years. It wasn't even just about the revenue. Go to NIWA. See, I've been to NIWA offices, their area offices in Port Harcourt and that of Onitsha. In short, somebody reached out to me and said that she's a NIWA staff in Lokoja. And he said, that man, George Moghalu, is a rare gem. It was somebody else telling me. He said, if you ever work with this person, there is no way, this person cannot turn things around. When he was the DG of NIWA, he did excellently well. The welfare of the staff of NIWA is something that some of their salaries were not just doubled, some of them were tripled. And these are like, there is no single person, some people, some staff where he built house for them, he brought in professionalism into NIWA, as the DG of NIWA. And it was under his watch that people even got to know, start hearing about NIWA. It was under his watch that I started hearing about Onitsha River Port working and not working and all of that. And he successfully concessioned it. And there were too many things that could have been done. By now, goods would have been coming into Onitsha on daily basis if people like that, remained in office. But that is a conversation for another day. So the point I'm trying to make is that, is he tested? He's tested. Does he have capacity to deliver? 100% he has the capacity to deliver. And now I feel that what we need to do is now to support, this person. There's so many ways we can support him, just like a Century has talked about. Century, you asked about the recovery agenda, The very first thing that we need to actually bring back in Anambra, I don't know if you mentioned that, is the fact that a lot of Indian Anambra have actually lost hope in governance. Like they no longer believe people in government, and they are now resorting to being very transactional, right? So this is why, if you look at the last election, the last senatorial election in Anambra, it was purely vote buying. I make bold to say that it was purely vote buying. What APGA government did As popular as they claim that they are on ground, they were simply buying votes for 30,000, 25,000, 20,000, 10,000 in some cases, and 5,000 in some cases. And why is that so? They are doing it because of the fact that they are not delivering, good governance at the moment. People no longer want to get involved in even coming out to vote, right? Because they no longer believe that government serves their purpose. Because government is not centered around them. What we now do is politics development. I'll give you an instance. Nnewi is still the biggest automobile market in the whole of West Africa. You can quote me anywhere, or you can find out, do your own research about this. But I make bold to say that Nnewi has the worst road you can find anywhere in the whole of Eastern Nigeria, apart from maybe Asaba Express and all of that. Almost all the major roads leading to the market are in shambles. Why is the government of Anambra State not paying attention to, revenue generating, cities in Anambra State? And the cities are left to decay. If you come to Nnewi today, you look around, you clearly find out that there's no government presence here. Onitsha is not faring any better. And people are being taxed every day. You pay this tax. Anambra State government made a law mandating all the local government to remit 90% of the local government allocations back to the a consolidated state account. So local governments are not functional. The only thing they do is to pay salaries. And so there's a lot of things that is not going well in the state. You're not talking about healthcare. We don't have, there's only one MIR scan or MIR scan in the whole of Anambra State, and it's domiciled in Nnewi by a private organization. Why don't we have, current and modern medical facilities in the state at the moment? So there's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be desired for if you're from Anambra at this stage, at this point. Most of the progress that we can still boast of right now are the things that happened.
Can you hear me?
Things that happened 15 years, 20 years ago. During the last administration, during P2B administration, and it shouldn't be so. So these are some of the things, that when you look at, you just realize that we cannot reinforce this failure, right? And on ground, people actually want this change. However, we need to actually work hard to sell this candidate, to the people, to actually tell them that, look, this man is somebody we can hold accountable. He listens. His humility is second to none. He's very, patient, very attentive, very intelligent. When I say somebody is very intelligent, it's not just about, being able to say you are a professor or you are a PhD, PhD degree holder or whatever. This is somebody that you can actually have conversations across different sectors of the economy, and is able to tell you what he's able to do in each and every one of them. So for me, I am not just campaigning for George Moghalu. I am telling people that, see, you can hold me. Like, I'm not somebody that want to do things because people are doing it, but I can vouch for this individual as to his ability to deliver good governance from the Anambra. And I really wish and hope that our people, will key into it so that we can recover this state for the future generation. Thank you so much, Century. I'll use the mic for now, and then, maybe answer one or two questions more. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll just take 5 more questions from the public. David, please manage that session. Let's just take 5 more questions. Welcome back. The judge is back on. Let's take 5 more questions.
So I think in queue, I think we have Matthew Baker. Matthew Baker.
All right. Okay, good evening.
You have
Thank
just a
you.
minute, please.
All right. Thank you very much.
Sorry, if you see my clap, you round off.
All right. Thank you. Yes, I just have 2 quick questions to the Labour Party governorship candidates of Anambra State. The first one is about the welfare and housing for civil servants in the state. I don't know what plan you have, because we have discovered in the country that civil servants work. They spend 35 years of their lives serving the state, and then many of them end up as paupers, and then in the course of their service, they struggle to pay house rents, while politicians live large. Houses are built for commissioners, houses are built for political office holders, vehicles are provided for them, official vehicles, security. So I want to know his plans for the civil servants, their welfare and housing. Secondly, there are a lot of people that have been locked up, innocently, in the correctional centers, in the prisons. Many people are languishing there, and then for no just cause. So I don't know if the incoming governor has a plan. What plan does he have for such people that are held down because their lives and destinies and people connected to them are locked down and is languishing somewhere when they have not really committed any offense? These are my two questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Am I supposed to take the questions immediately?
No, sir. Let's have them in a row. So you just
Okay.
yes. So I think Moshood, you have the mic, please. After Moshood, go. Then after go, comrade. Moshood, are you there? If you're not there, go can actually go. Okay, go. Let's have you, please.
Okay, good evening, all. Good evening, Dr. George Moghalu.
Thank you.
My name is Hugo Anekwe. I'm from Eziowele, Idemili North. I'm a voter there. But I don't think you responded to about the Idemili North and Idemili South vote. That's where the highest number of votes come from. And also, I want to ask: are you working with Honorable Okonkwo, the current House of Rep member, because he's a Labour Party man? So I'm supposed to be working with him so we can deliver votes there. And again, the present governor came to office with the least minority votes, 100 and something thousand votes. That is minority. That is very, very little. So our major aim now is to mobilize people to make sure that people come out on the election day. And when people troop out in their numbers to vote, it will be difficult for them to buy those votes. So I don't have any question because you are not campaigning for me. I will vote for you. You are Labour. You are now an obedient person. So I vote for you. So, and they again ask people and campaign and make sure people vote for you. But that in Idemili North and South should be major focus because that is where the numbers will come from. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Comrade Shedrack, please. You have the mic.
Okay, good evening, House. Yeah, please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, comrade. You
Yeah,
have
my
a
name
minute.
is Comrade
You have
Shedrack.
a minute.
Okay, yes, Comrade Shedrack from Anambra State. So please, I have to be quick because of time. Please, I don't have much question to our principal. I want to just go direct to our Oga. My network is disturbing. Dr. Tanko. Okay, please. My question to you directly, and I would like you to just answer me, sir. I want to know because previous week for like 3 weeks now, I have been in my state, Anambra State, monitoring things, and I discovered that obedient movements are not fully involved in the campaign, and I don't know the reason. And please, I want to plead, if possible, by next month, let all the obedient, mostly those voting in Anambra, should move back home because we need them. Dr. George cannot do everything alone. he need everyone. Like myself now, my family, myself, my wife, even two of my workers that are voting in my state, I will move them next month. So please, I don't want us to be talking always online. I want us to be taking action. My second question now goes to you again, sir. Sir, please, I want to know why His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, I want to know. I'm not seeing his full involvement in the campaign with Dr. George. Is there any other plans ahead? Please, I just needed to answer those two questions. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think Dr. Tanko heard you. Dr. Tanko, do you want to take it or we should go ahead? Maybe at the end. Dr. Tanko, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, then I think he directed these questions to you.
Yes,
So I don't know if you want.
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
clearly. Let me establish. Yes, we were waiting for a lot of clarity, and you remember that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, as a leader of the obedient movement, who is not selfish, who wants to carry along every member of his followers, said that he will wait until November and give support to all of his candidates. That includes His Excellency Mr. George Morgan, support for the election coming up in November. I was there in Onitsha when, despite all odds, he made sure he was on that ground and he raised the hand of Mr. George Moghalu. I was there. So the person that actually kicked off this particular campaign was actually Mr. Peter Obi himself. So he was there at the beginning and he has promised to be there. So even the last time before we left for Lagos, we had meeting. He also committed himself by having meeting with Mr. George Moghalu and promised that he will continue to support his candidature, promised to do what he can do to ensure that we win the election. So be rest assured that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi is fully in tune with this campaign and he'll do all that he can do to ensure that we are fully on ground in Oka and Anambra in general. As for the obedient movement, we've had series of meetings before we got to this level. We have 2 or 3 meetings with Mr. George Moghalu, and he has been able to intimate the obedient movement generally. He has spoken with Anambrians, all the collegiate leadership in Anambra and surrounding. Almost all the states in the southeast have been contacted. And we have come to resolve that we will all be in Oka to support Mr. George Moghalu's candidature. There are plans already on ground in order to ensure that this takes place. In fact, as of yesterday, we were supposed to have a meeting with him on the modus operandi on how to march on to Oka to support his candidature. So the obedient movement has been fully engineered and we have spoken to each other. And so this particular space is a culmination of what we agreed upon. So we are ready and we will all of everybody in Anambra and surrounding to come out en masse and give their full support. Starting from yesterday or day before yesterday, we've given a matching resolution that every obedient in and around Anambra, including those who are on this space, should please start placing the posters and face of Mr. George Moghalu on their phones and on their DPs and everywhere they can be reached to ensure that the maximum popularity is ensured. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready and we're willing to go. So we all just need to organize ourselves using both human and material resources, bringing in technology to this particular campaign. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tanko. Matthew, I think you've spoken. Please, if you have, just indicate, because the last speaker for tonight is going to be Eze Danino. Okay, so Eze Danino, you have the floor, please.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sure.
Have a minute, sorry.
Yeah, mine just simple question. Doc, what's your take on rotational system and one-term bid in governance? And then two, what type of agent do you have? And do you have a backup agent? Bear in mind that some agents can be compromised. Do you have backup agent like retired forces, like the retired policemen and the rest? And then what's your relationship with the student, and they will play a key role in this? And lastly, why is the Onitsha River Port not working currently? What do you know about it? Thank you.
Am I to take the questions now or?
Yes, sir, you can take the questions. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. The first one was about welfare and housing for civil servants in the state. As part of our program, we have said that we're going to ensure how we provide houses for our civil servants. We believe very strongly that we must address the issue of their welfare. You see, if you buy cheap, you buy twice. If you don't train, equip, and prepare the civil servants, you will not get the best out of them. And we believe that their welfare is very, very critical. And that's why we made a promise that things like pension will not be delayed in our state. After you have served your state meritoriously for 35 years, you have no reason to beg for what is due to you. So we must have that as a package. The welfare of civil servants is critical. You see, when you address the issue of their housing, address the issue of their medicals, address the issue of their transportation, you have successfully addressed their welfare. Whatever they earn, therefore, can be put into other effective use, things that matter to them personally. So housing, we're going to get the government involved in mass housing and involving the private sector. We must involve the private sector to drive our economy, but we must first of all create the enabling environment, address the issue of insecurity, bring in incentives, make things easier for them, unbottle, unlock governance. Unlock governance. People should apply for their CFO, and within 1 week they should have their CFO. People should apply for land that they need to use to do investment. You provide them that. What is the government involvement? These are questions we must ask ourselves and be able to address the needs of the people. So the civil servants, just like other Anambrarians, are Anambrarians. They are of course great concern to us, because if you want a good civil service, you prepare them properly, create the environment, and you get the best out of them. So those two issues are of critical importance, and we're going to address it. Then when you talk about correctional centers, the limit a state structure, subnational, has with regards to the operations of correctional centers are very clearly limited, because it is a federal responsibility. But however, we can play an advocate role. We can improve on advocacy to get the ones that the ones that concerns us, like using the instrumentality of prerogative of mercy committees, and then getting the chief judge to visit, to make visitations to correctional centers more routine, so that he or she can look at the cases that are there. Because there's no doubt as to the fact that we have more awaiting trial cases than those convicted. So these are issues that can be addressed, but more our role will be more of advocacy, because it's a federal territory, it's a federal concern. That is not to say that we cannot use the instrumentality of our judiciary system by way of getting the chief judge, appealing to him, getting them, encouraging them to go more on a routine check to ensure that those who shouldn't be there are not kept there unlawfully. We are very conscious of the issue of Idemili North and South. Yes, but the correction must be made. In terms of voter population, yes, Idemili North, but not Idemili South, because here we are more than Idemili South in terms of voter population. However, every vote counts. Every vote is important. Idemili North is important. Idemili South is important. We are going to do everything we can to sell our candidacy in this particular area so that we can maximize the output. We have a latent force. Labour Party, the obedience have a latent force. What we need to do is to ignite it. We need to get it. These are latent forces that are dormant. We need to whip up the sentiment. We need to bring them to the consciousness of their responsibility, and then they will play the role. But as to whether we are aware that the Demley North and South are very critical, we are fully aware, and they have a strong voting population. Then somebody asked whether I was working with Honorable Harris Okonkwo. Yes, very well, very much. Harris is working with us. He has shown commitment. He has been involved in some of the community tours we have attended. He attended with us, and he's been quite supportive. So we're working together, and he's bringing it to bear. We're going to also tap into the advantage of the fact that he's representing the Emily North and South in the federal legislature. Then somebody talked about P2B's involvement, but pointed the question to Tanko, and Tanko has started talking about it, so there's nothing to say there. Then retired members of the armed forces. Yes, I have said it time and time again that we must get involved. Members of the armed forces that are retired, we will use them to train our local vigilantes. We use them to train our local forces so that we can have a well-trained local arrangement that can be beneficial to our people. So we're involving them, we'll continue to involve them. And as to elections, we are also sensitizing them. They are part of the local communities we are talking to. We are sensitizing them, we are getting them to understand how important, how their role is important to ensure that things are properly done. So we are getting them involved as we get along. Then finally, on the issue of Onitsha River Port, I feel sad that not much has happened there after we left, because we had a plan. We drew a master plan that as to what should happen with Onitsha River Port, because the potentials are quite enormous. And that was why we were very firm in our commitment to ensure that we concession the port, which is successfully did. Unfortunately, the technical partners are Port of Antwerp. The man managing Onitsha River Port, the last time I saw him was Mr. Wett. He's a Belgian. So what the government needs to do, as a government, if we find ourselves in office, Onitsha River Port belongs to the federal government, just like National Inland Waterways Authority was a department in government at the federal level. What we're going to do there is to encourage them, advocacy also. We're going to challenge, we're going to encourage, we're going to support to ensure that the port is put into effective use. I will advise the federal government on the need for dredging to open up the channels so that access to the various ports, not only Onitsha River Port, inland ports, will be very, very free. And we'll also encourage government to ensure that other local inland ports like Uguta, like Lokoja, they're all completed. Because the moment they are completed and the channels are opened, we put them into effective use. And it will be beneficial in terms of cargo movement within the country. Like I've always said, movement of bulk cargo all over the world is either by water or by rail, not by road. Thank you.
Okay, Century. Yeah, go.
Yeah, thank you very much. We are gradually coming to the end of this space. We are just to provide context, we are currently trying to get His Excellency on. Dr. Tanko is trying to make that happen. But before we finalize that, I want to bring in, as I know we said we're going to have the last question. I want to bring up Eseloka Zik to just ask one last question. Apologies. After that, Dr. Tanko will provide us with updates regarding His Excellency's presence on the space. Eseloka, please go ahead and ask your question, please.
Good evening, all. Mine is not so much a question as to just make some observations. My name is Eseloka Zikora. I have known Dr. George Moghalu for over 20 years now, and I can say that he's more than prepared to be governor of Anambra State and to provide the necessary good governance
and capacity that will bring Anambra State back once again on track. Having said that, I just want to mention that apart from the issues of low voter turnout in Anambra elections, it's not just about voter apathy. It is also, for this particular election, the issue of fear. There is fear being entrenched by the current governor with his Odogachi or whatever militia that he has unleashed on that place. And the very things that they have done thus far is purposely meant to put fear in the mind of the people and discourage them from coming out on the election date. So the issue is how to galvanize these people and let them know that they have to take their destiny in their hands. Fear, we have to conquer fear and make people to come out. Two, the issue of association of Dr. George Moghalu with our principal, His Excellency Peter B, is critical. And one of the ways that I believe it's an old method, but then it is still very vital for the rural communities, is more of the posters with his picture and that of our principal should be severally in most words. I know that they are discouraging, they have used the issue of money to discourage billboards and what have you in Anambra, but we can still do those kind of poster things in the Anambra State rural areas, in the various wards, on people's homes and what have you. So, and I will also advise that nocturnally, you should be able to have some meetings with various community leaders, especially the PGs of the various town unions. Having said that, thank you so much for this opportunity to participate in this, and we are hoping for the best come November 8th.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Oseloka. Thank you so much, Dr. George, for being an amazing guest on this government space and for really answering powerful questions, sharing insights about your campaign, what you stand for, your vision for Anambra State. And also thank you to everyone who have really, really done a fantastic job of putting our candidate through the fire to ensure that we are backing someone that we truly believe that has a competence, capacity, and character. And I'm certain that we are leaving this space knowing that we have a solid candidate and a strong understanding that the movement is totally behind him. And not just in the coming months, in the coming weeks, the entire structure of the obedient movement in Anambra State would do justice to support him as that whole process is currently ongoing. This space is a space where His Excellency Peter B is supposed to be on this space to also share with us his vision and his rationale for why he's supporting Dr. George. For some reason, we are having a bit of a challenge reaching him. I want to bring Dr. Tanko. Are you on the call, please, to provide context in terms of where we are with that conversation? Thank you.
Yes, I can. I just finished speaking with His Excellency, and he has promised to join this particular meeting. I actually sent him a link already just to ensure that he gets the right connected. And so I only hope he's not having any technical issue, as the case may be. But we'll continue to try to ensure that he comes up so that he speaks to us as with regard to this particular campaign. Like I said earlier on, we've been in touch with him before we got to this level. In fact, we agree on this particular timing. So I want to plead with you to have a little bit of patience. He will join us and then spend maybe 10, 20 minutes, and then we are done with this particular meeting. But I really want to stress on something. Mr. Oseloka mentioned a very critical issue. There is a concerted effort to cow everybody in this country, intimidate, subdue, have a mental attack on every Nigerian. And they are going to start with Anambra.
The idea is, you know, the background of Mr. President, with all due respect. Many of what has happened to us in the obedient movement has been the issue of intimidation, maiming, attack, and killing. I will stress that word, killing. A lot of our people lost their lives before the 2023 general elections. Single problem because they want to register to vote. Many young men and girls lost their lives. And at the point also when we were campaigning in Lagos, I was in Lagos, a lot of buses were attacked and were being maimed. A lot is still happening at the moment now. But the question is, do we as a people allow this to continue with the spirit of those who lost their lives in the process of trying to get Nigeria on the right path? Would they forgive us if we refuse to continue to challenge the status quo? I'm talking to you with a lot of emotions in my mind, because it seems to me like Nigeria will be put under the map of a very cowardly looking set of people. We're not cowards and we're not afraid. A man can only die but once, especially when you are doing the right part, the right thing. We only ask to allow us to do our constitutional rights, which is voting for the candidate of our choice. We're not asking for anything to be gratified for anything. But if we will allow such thing to continue, then please, ladies and gentlemen, there's no need for us to continue to wall up in our corner, in our cocoon, to complain about certain things is done wrongly and all. No. No. We have to fight this battle for the soul of our country. We have to come en masse, encourage people, give them that particular vibes to believe that yes, they can do it. Look, how many of us would they kill if we come out en masse to say we are voting? We will vote. We must vote. We must come out and vote. Don't allow anybody to intimidate you at all. If they succeed in Anambra, I will tell you that forget about 2027. If they succeed in Anambra to intimidate any one of you from not coming out, they will finish this country completely. Then we'll have no say anymore. Me, I'm battle ready to come out. I will be there by the grace of God. Probably it's me that they will first of all kill for coming out to support Mr. Moghalu or asking Nigerians to come out and vote. I will surrender my life to this particular cause. Because if we allow it, I'm telling you, we are finished as a people. So please use this particular voice of mine. Send it as a message to everybody in Anambra that they have the right to vote. Yes, they can defeat us cleanly. We will accept defeat, but not to be intimidated, not to be stopped from coming out to vote. We must vote for the candidate of our choice. I'm pleading with every one of you. Please go back. Everybody that you need to energize them. Let them come out and vote. Nothing will happen. And if they kill us, they cannot kill the whole of us completely. It won't happen. So obedience, get your mojo on. Get your strength on. It is time to take our country back. It is time to show our strength collectively. Please come out and vote on the 8th of November. Mobilize everybody that you can mobilize. That is the tone in which we need to use now. Now, not tomorrow. Century, you can give more space to people who want to speak to us in this light while we wait for His Excellency to join us. And I'll continue to try to get him on board. If he has challenges, we'll find a way of getting him on board. Thank you and God bless you. Nigeria is home and we must get it back.
Thank you, Dr. Tanko, for your very, very passionate speech. Like as you were saying, as you were speaking, I had goosebumps because we are currently in a fight for survival, in a fight for the future of this nation. And we're currently in a fight for the future of our unborn children and those that have been born. And like you said, we only die once. And so we have to fight this fight to safeguard ourselves and also save the future generation. Now, I would want to bring Jack back up because when Jack was speaking, when Dr. Tanko was speaking, I just felt Jack would be a very strong segue to continue to push this conversation and more or less to build the rationale. And the rationale for me, Jack, is that we've had all of these things, that we've had a very fantastic conversation. If you've been here since 8:30, you already know that Dr. George is someone who has competence. He has someone who has capacity and character for His Excellency to choose him. He has a plan. He has a mandate. He has a recovery agenda. Now, it's like selling him to the choir because to a large degree, you felt the intellectual sagacity of his mind on this space. Now, Jack, I want you to come back on to sort of like make a case to every single obedient on this call, just the same way Dr. Tanko has spoken. Every single obedient on this call, for us to really understand at this call why we need to be involved and how we can be involved. So not just the why, but how, the exact how from your own perspective. Jack, if you're in this space, please, I would like you to throw some light on this. Are you there, Jack?
Essentially, if Jack is having a bit.
Can you take that there? Can you take that, David? David, can you take that? Yeah.
Okay, so I was also going to like make a request to Mr. George, Dr. George rather. I don't know if he's available. It's just a request, not because last week, no, early this week rather, I spoke with my parents. Of course, with the intent of selling his candidacy, because like I said, he's not just pushing offline. Can you hear me? Sorry, Century, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So it's not just pushing offline because people say we just make a noise online. It's not just pushing online. It's also going beyond online to also galvanize support offline. So, of course, I was having interaction with my parents and giving them the usual because the affinity with Anambra between Anambra and Apuga, of course, was, I would say, caused by PO. But since then, since he made them see good governance through Apuga, they now believe that good governance can only come through Apuga. Unfortunately, the people who have
Hello,
come after
Century. What could be the problem? The voice is very low. We're not hearing it properly anymore.
Well, I think it's from your own end. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Can you hear
Yes,
me too?
but it's not as loud as
Okay,
you should
David.
be. My appliance is at the highest point.
Can you hear me now, sir? Can you
Okay,
hear me?
okay, David. I think just rejoin back. Just come back in and rejoin back.
Oh, but
Right? Just
can
come
you
back
hear
and rejoin
wait,
back.
can you hear me, Century?
It's a bit faint. It's
It's
not
Oh,
very
very
sharp.
oh,
faint, not
okay.
a bit.
Very
Very,
faint.
very.
Yeah, very faint. So just join back. Okay, so Jackie would go on to get contributions from others, but I want to make all of us understand. I want to just basically announce that His Excellency we're trying to get him on. He's just landed. He's been in transit for a while. He just landed, so we are still working behind the scene to get him on this space. While we continue to wait for him, we want to focus on contributions now. If you know you have a contribution to make, I'm not a question, but a contribution to add to this conversation, to add your voice, especially with focus on what you can do, what you are pledging to do for the campaign. What are you going to be contributing to ensure that this campaign is a success, That is what we are now focused on right now. So we're in this phase of we've passed the phase of questions. We're now in the phase of
Century,
of
Century, please
yeah.
hold on.
Yes, sir.
Listen to His Excellency. He's speaking through my phone because it's challenge getting to you. Just listen to
Okay.
Excellency, please.
Okay.
Oh. Can even speak to him in the Century? No, they can hear you now, Century. Can you?
Yes.
I can hear him. I can hear him. I can hear
They
him.
can
Yes.
hear you now, sir. Century, finish what you're saying. As they're talking, finish what you're saying. I'll talk with Tanko. Then I'll come back to you. Finish what you're saying because through Tanko I was hearing you. So finish what you're saying. Tanko, let him finish what he's saying. Then I'll come out.
No, I'm done. I'm done speaking, sir. I'm done speaking already, sir. I'm done speaking.
So what I'm wondering, because I've not listened to so many things you people were discussing before, to have an update of what you were talking about.
Okay, should I just give you an update of what we'll be talking about? What just a summary of what has happened so far?
Yes, because that's what I wanted Tanko to give me.
Okay. So, Dr. Tanko, do you want to do that while His Excellency on the space? Dr. Tanko, can you hear us?
Go ahead, Century. Go ahead, speak.
Okay. So, a quick update, sir. So, what we've been able to do on this space is we've provided obedience on this space, an overview of who Dr. George is, what he stands for, his mandate, his vision for Anambra State. We've also had various obedience come on and ask critical questions around his plan for education, his plan to address insecurity, his plan to ensure that Anambra State is an industrialized state. It's also his plans for accountability to run a government that is transparent, a government that is truthful, accountable to its people. Also in terms of infrastructure and urban development, his plans for that. And he's done a fantastic job of answering the questions that has been asked by obedience. And we've had Jack come on to also make a very strong case in terms of the pedigree of Dr. George, what he's done at NIWA, his track record of service delivery, his track record, his reputation, in terms of accountability, and all of that. And we had obedience who have also raised concerns regarding what your pose. Dr. Tanko, are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. Excellent.
Can you see him? Okay. So we've also had obedience who have asked questions regarding your support for him and all of that. And so that's where we are currently at the moment, where we are basically taking contributions. Dr. Tanko has made a very strong, passionate plea in terms of what's at stake. And democracy is at stake. And there are people that want to silence the voice of obedience. Dr. Tanko, are you still speaking? I don't know if I'm speaking over you. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, so pretty much that's what we've been. That's pretty much a summary of what we've discussed so far.
Thank
you. What has happened so far. Thank you.
Please go ahead, Your Excellency. Well, I believe you have done most of the work that needs to be done. What is important is that first and foremost, that my own position is that he's the candidate I'm supporting for the election. The reason being that I've looked at all the other candidates, not just because he's a Labour Party candidate and a Labour Party member, but in terms of experience, I believe he has the experience for the office. I also believe that having lived and operated around Abia area, he could see the difference being made when there's a good governance. 3, in terms of having governance has a lot to do, not just competence, but an issue of compassion, where
represents the people, I believe he has the right compassion for governance. And I urge you people, and I'm happy that this is not me now telling you people, you've been able to, on your own, be able to have a conversation with him. Because that's what I tell people every day. It is important that whoever says, I want this office on this, should be able to tell the world what he wants to do with that office. Not via people, not other people doing it. He is the one talking to you people. And I thank you people for that and the opportunity of extracting everything from him. Now that is the position, you now see why you must all go out to support him. The campaign has not been going right the way I feel it should go in Anambra State, where I believed I passed through. I had a second tenor, which was between me, Dr. Chris Ngige, Professor Soludo, Shifuka Chukwu, Ifeanyi Uba, Andy Uba, and Uche Kunife. And I can tell you, the campaign was so vigorous for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. Every discussion was on issues which I've said and maintained my politics is all about. Any politics that is devoid of issues, I'm not part of it. And I don't want to be part of it. For me, politics, morning, afternoon, night, must be a discussion on issues. Anything short of that, I don't want to participate in it. So when I now listen to where people have abandoned issues and are discussing personal things, and one person who is very, very worried. So I thank you for the interview, for your own intervene him and being able to get what you want. I thank you for the night. Maybe as we now go on the day campaign, you'll be hearing from me, because what we are doing now is online discussion, which has to be followed on. There's a lot of other work. It's not going to be easy. There's a lot of work. Politics have now changed totally in Nigeria. Today I was in Anambra State, and I moved around Anambra State. And if I give you examples of what they were saying, even while I was in Onitsha, there was in Oka, I was in Onitsha. I'm pretty the same thing they're telling me in Oka market is what they're telling me in Onitsha market about the campaign and everything, what is happening and what is not happening. I think we have now turned campaign into everybody's waiting to pay for votes. So people are not as aggressive as it should be, and that's where we must return it to. On issues, let's go back to discuss issues, and document those issues people are telling you people. And this must border on the critical area of measurable, visible area that the person who says, I'm going to do this, whether it's our own candidate or not, that we know this person said it. So that tomorrow we can judge them on what they say they will do. So thank you for your time. Mine is just to come in and say thank you. That's all I'm participating in, to say thank you to you people for this meeting. Thank you. God bless all of you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from our great leader, a great motivator, a person who always talked about democracy in a different light. For a very long time, we've not gotten an individual who have shown resilience, who have shown doggedness, who is also trying to change the face of our democracy from kind of thuggery, stealing, buying of votes to real politics that concerns every one of us. So if he, who is comfortable as an individual, he can take care of his day and day-to-day life, yet he's coming out to sacrifice, to say, look, this politics must change to the interest of the Nigerian people as number one priority. Then what about those of us who have been at the background and the receiving end of the decay in the system? Would you continue to wallop in the decay system or actually join him in finding solution and salvage what is remaining of this country? So thank you very much, Your Excellency. We remain resolute, we remain determined, we will continue to champion this particular cause and will continue to change the narrative. Thank you. God bless you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the awesome voice of His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, inshallah. Thank you.